to my foam Rollerama session. I have my Trigger Point foam roller here today. That is the brand name. I'm not promoting it necessarily, but it's what I've got to work with. It's got some cool knobs, and these little square knobs are supposed to simulate fingers, and these long knobs and these flatter sections are supposed to be for broader areas, sensitive areas. Anyway, here we are. Before we begin any myofascia release session, I want to do a little bit of a spine warm-up. I've been doing a little studying of the spine as far as bone health and bone density. Rounding the spine and keeping it mobile, we all know, is healthy. You are as healthy, how does it go? Something like your body is only as healthy as your spine is mobile, or something like that. So I've already begun. I am pulling my abs in, rounding backward, and then sitting up straight. Just one more time. Pull your abs in and sit up straight. Now I'm just going to bring my roller to the side and use it as a device to roll onto when I bend sideways. All right, you haven't missed anything if you're just coming in now, bending and limbering the spine. When we begin the myofascia release session, we'll start with massaging at the bottoms of the feet. Right now, we're just limbering the spine, making it more mobile and making muscles more pliable. This will be the last one as I come up and over, keeping the hips grounded. Return, and we're on the other side. As I kept rattling on and on and on, I probably did about 4 or 5 of these. You should just make sure you're still moving. Moving and keep the oxygen flowing. Flowing oxygen in your shoulder joint, in your spine joint, also even in your hip as you bend sideways. Yahoo! All right, so I'm done with that. Interlace your fingers and draw your arms back, expanding across your chest. I'm now going to place my palms down and lean back, all expanding across the chest. Another way to do that very same sort of stretch is to use your roller. I'm turning sideways so you can see that it's sitting in the low of my back. Now, my arms are supposed to go around the roller. You can sort of pretend to, I'm going to use the word hug, like you're hugging the roller against your body, or you can keep your hands down and lift the chest. I think if you have the longer foam roller, it might be a little bit easier, but there's one terrific chest stretch. Oh. All right, I am moving up onto the couch. If you've got a chair, you can sit on it, and we'll start with the myofascia release of the bottom of the feet. There's thousands of pads and neuron transmitters at the bottom of your feet. There are many ways to start. You can do the whole foot back and forth. You can do it much slower than I am. And you can do both feet at the same time if you want. You'll find, though, that you can be more successful if you do one foot and press down on it heavily. You can also do this standing. There are no rules. You can do this standing or seated. What you want to make sure to cover is not just the whole bottom from the toe to the heel, but sometimes concentrate on a particular area. Here I am now back on my heel, rolling back and forth. I can even roll my foot out to the side, supinate, or I can roll inside of the arch, which is to pronate. I'm not a good pronator, not naturally. I'm going to concentrate now on the ball of the foot and make an effort to spread my toes. So when I get to the ball of the foot, the pads of each of my toes are also on the roller. Spread your toes. Do what you can or do what you need. If you've got sensitive feet, if you have foot issues, if you have any of that, like that prickly this feeling, I forget what you call it, at the bottom of your feet, you may want to spend more time on the bottom of your foot. All right, or maybe some fascia, plantar fasciitis or some other ailments of the feet. Concentrate on your foot there. All right, I'm moving on to my second foot because we have just 30 minutes to get in as many body parts as possible. And while I really enjoy this and I could spend a long time doing this, I don't need to demonstrate much longer. I've been doing the whole foot now, and now mostly the heel. Remember, you can stand if you want to get heavier pressure on your heel. I'm trying to pronate, so my arches are down. And now I'm supinating, so my arches are up. Supinate and pronate. Now I'll place the ball of my foot. If you're paying any attention at all to my especially textured foam roller, I'm using the section that's got all of the little pointy knobs. It's like a grid of about 16 of those little squares. And doing the ball of my foot and the base of the toes. Remember to try to exercise the toes for dexterity. Open and spread the toes. Open, spreading the toes. There's a whole bunch of stuff I could talk about at the foot, but we'll just leave it at that. I'm going to do both feet just a couple of times, relatively heavy, the bottoms of both feet, finishing off the feet. Now as I come down, I can continue to use the couch. It's convenient to prop my forearms on the couch. I'll bring the roller down to my Achilles tendon. I've propped my body up, oh my God, so that I'm using my arms and my shoulders, moving my body forward and back. My calves, which are pretty tight, and my Achilles tendon is getting all of my attention right now. My other foot is foot flat, and I am using that leg, and of course my arms, strength, to help propel me forward and back. If you don't want to move your body, you can just move your leg, bending and straightening. Here's what else you should know. While I'm targeting this, my right leg, I can put my other leg on top, and make it really heavy. Just putting on the pressure at the bottom of my calves, at the top of my Achilles. I'm doing this with my ankle flexed, and then doing a few with my foot pointed. Just be careful not to snag your toe on the rubber mat. Who knew that my bulky calves could be so sensitive and tender? I want to get to the outside of my calves, closer to my shins, so I've turned my foot out. My foot is basically turned sideways. That starts from the external rotation of your thigh bone in the hip socket. As much work as I'm doing, it doesn't feel so good yet, so I'm going to put my other leg on top. Oh yeah. So in the world of myofascia release on foam roller, they say when you find a hot spot, you should just pause. While it's painful now, there's long-term release when you're done. Some of my research will show that you can do this for as little as 15 seconds and all the way up to 30 and 45 seconds, holding on to a location, sitting on your hot spot for anywhere from 15 to 45 seconds. That's a long time. Okay, so I have to move to the second leg. I'll find my Achilles tendon and then prop myself up on my couch. Rock and roll backward and forward. I'm using mostly my arms and my foot flat on the mat. I could also just use the leg, which is on the roller. I feel like this is a good start, but I could take on more pain. So I'm going to stack the other leg on top. Do the best you can. If you're finding all of this to be too cumbersome, being on a couch or a chair, you could just turn yourself onto your mat and place your hands down on the mat. Continue rolling back and forth. Lots of options. I'm going to stay broadly covering mostly now calf, Achilles, and my shins. I'm doing this with my ankle flexed. I'll do a few more with the foot pointed. Oh my goodness. Changing the angle just slightly. And getting more weight onto the roller. Myofascia release, baby. Okay, that's enough. And so I will assemble both of my legs, both of my Achilles, and just a few times rocking back and forth. You'll discover this is sort of like a hidden, nuanced workout in my arms and shoulders too, huh? All right, I will continue now to get that roller underneath my hamstrings and buttocks. This looks like fun, doesn't it? Oh yeah, I'm having such a good time. Rolling back and forth. You're massaging the backs of your legs, which is the hamstrings. It's a giant bulk of muscles like a big old meatloaf that has been in the oven a little too long. Rolling backward and forward. Now, I'll target much, much higher at my hamstrings, closer to my butt. I can do this with my knees bending and feet flat. Get yourself on the roller. Oh, when you roll over your bony butt bones, you can really feel it. Boom, right there. So find a spot. Now, what we should be doing is generally concentrating on one butt cheek. Cross your ankle. I've seen this done a number of ways. You can stay squared off and centered, or you can roll over to the butt cheek of the crossed leg, right? The leg that's bent. So now, because this is my left leg, I am concentrating my weight on my left butt cheek, and my left butt bone doesn't like it, but I'm gonna do it again. Ooh. If you're finding that it's just too much, you know, like on a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being unbearable, this is about a 9.5. Ooh. If you're finding that to be a little unbearable, well, just stay loose, stay light, or go back to both butt cheeks. Distribute your weight. All right, I'm gonna cross my other leg over and scooch my rear end just a few inches on my roller. Start generally the whole gluteus maximus. Oh, from the bottom of the butt to closer to the top of the buttocks. I found my hot spot right there. Yeah. Ooh. I'm afraid to be any heavier. This is too scary. Oh. Ooh. So the benefits of myofascia release, there are many. So depending on what type of workouts you do, there are some schools of thought that say you should do myofascia release before workouts for a few minutes, or do the myofascia release after your workout for more minutes. Releasing lactic acid buildup, and that of course will reduce soreness. Some people use it to release tightness. Now, my foam roller will be under my shoulder blades. Now I'm keeping my foam roller, what would this be? Perpendicular, across. Shoulder blades have landed. I am quite sure that it is my shoulder blades, not my ribs. Once you pick up your arms and you replace your shoulder blades down on the roller, you can cross your arms at your chest like I Dream of Jeannie, and you can pick your butt up off the floor. Using your feet and legs, push back and forth. Now, a huge safety concern is pushing too far and landing on just ribs, too close to your low back. I want to be the one to warn you, don't do that. You do not want to roll on a foam roller at your low back. Generally, try to stay away from the lowest ribs. So if I call the location shoulder blades, lower edge of the shoulder blade, upper edge of the shoulder blade, you're going to stay within the safest range. I'm putting my butt down. I have to support my head. It's so big. But I want my head to be heavier and heavier to allow my chest to open. When my elbows are wide and heavy, this will also magnify or amplify the stretch across my chest. I won't stay here long. I'm lifting my head now. This is a motion you can repeat a number of times. So as I lower my head, my chest is expanding. I'm sure that my shoulder blades are wide on the roller. Oh. Lifting my head now, crunching my abdominals, my head is safe. As my head goes back, my spine is in a position we call spine extension. This spine extension is great for expanding the chest. My elbows are wide and heavy. I'm doing it one more time just in case you're just now getting it. So here I am with my spine extended, heavy head, although supported with my hands, elbows wide open and the chest expanded. Don't hold your breath. Woohoo! I'm coming up. From here, I'll make a minor adjustment and move to the area called the latissimus dorsi, where my hand is landing on my outside ribs, starting from around the bottom of my armpit down to the ribs. There's a bunch of muscle fibers there. Oh. Once you lay your body down on the roller, you can keep your arms down or lift the arms up and figure out a way to mechanically motorize yourself rolling back and forth. Now, when the foam roller is moving like a dough roller, it can go only north and south. But in order to get cross fiber massaging, your body would need to roll a little bit left-right, or I prefer to use east-west. My lats are sore. Ugh. I have rolled left, my body is left, as my foam roller goes north-south. When I go this way, which is my right, I have rolled to the east. Oh. While my foam roller continued to go north-south. Oof, I can't do no more. I'm moving on to a bit of my rear delts, the back of the deltoid, and onto the triceps. There are 3 muscles in the triceps, which you don't need me to tell you that. But you're going to have to figure out how to get from triceps and rear delts just about to where the rim of your armpit is, and that's where your latissimus dorsi starts. Oh, God. So, a bunch of muscles, but they're all sectioned off. Rear delts, triceps, rear delts, lats. Rear delts, triceps. Here's my triceps, rear delts, lats. Okay, other side. Oof. I started with generally the latissimus dorsi from near the bottom ribs. Remember, not the last ribs. There's a whole reason for that, but I won't go into it. The 2 bottom ribs are detached, and you don't want to be weight-bearing on those just lonely little 2 ribs. Ugh. So find some muscles. Ooh. Remember, you can do this with your arms down, or you can do it with your arms up. Oh. And feel the shoulder blade, and try not to just be on the blade itself, but find the muscles near the armpits. I gotta move this camera. I can barely see myself. Oh, no wonder. Yeah, how's that? Okay, now I'm on to my latissimus dorsi on the upper edge near the armpit rim, and I've discovered my rear delts. The rear deltoid is the back of the shoulder. Shoulder, medial deltoid. Back of shoulder, rear deltoid. Rear delts. Oh. Then, when your arm is extended and abducted, you can get into triceps. You'll have to figure out your own choreography. You know, you can always just move the roller, adjust it. Oh, here I am on my triceps. I can connect the triceps to the rear delts, and up onto my latissimus dorsi. Rolling again. Here's my triceps, rear delts, and my lats. Okay, we still have the front to do. Oh, I can't read that. The font is too small. All right, I'm on to my big thigh. Of course, you know, you can do it like this. In fact, if you have a friend can come over and do the rolling. You're the patient, client on the floor. Your friend is your masseuse, and they can dough roll you. All right, I'm doing one leg. Woo! Ooh. The bulk of my thigh, my foam roller is going north and south. my cross fiber body rolling east and west. Now when I go west, it's generally inner thigh. There are other ways to get to inner thigh. Again, you got to figure out the choreography. I am basically lying sideways down the middle of my mat, and because it's the top leg inner thigh that I want to massage, there we go. I figured it out. The roller, and my inner thighs are developing an intimate relationship. Try straightening the leg, and then try knees bent. I don't think it makes any difference in the inner thigh. But when I go back to the top of my quads, I can do straight leg and then bent knee. Try it with your bent knee a couple of times. And go all the way. Oh, I found a hot spot right there. A few moments of pain for many more minutes of relief later. You can also concentrate on just the hip flexors. So as I roll back and forth, all right, I'm switching legs. I don't want to spend all my time on just one leg, so I'll turn over. You can see better. This is my leg closer to the camera. The full length of your quads. From all the way at the top where the hip flexors are at the top of your hip flexion, all the way down to the knee. You should always target muscles. It's not necessary, completely useless, and could be dangerous to roll around on bones. Don't go to your kneecap. Stay off the shin bone. Stay off of the rib bones. It's just not necessary. This massaging is for muscles. I'm going to concentrate mostly on the outer thigh. Oh, there's a spot right there. And then, as I roll over, I want to get the inner thigh, and my knee would be bent, and that's my angle. There we go. Rolling with the roller. A little closer, a little risky. Straight leg a few times, and bent knees a few times. Actually doesn't make a whole lot of difference when you're on the inner thigh, but when you return to the thigh, the front of your thigh, we'll do a few on straight leg, and then a few with your knee bent. Oh God. Find your hot spot, and good gracious. I can't stand it. Woo. Okay, that's enough. And so as we're traveling from the feet and all the way up, we've done the shoulder blade area, but we did it with the foam roller in the perpendicular position. Now, I'm turning the foam roller to the parallel position. And then I have to be extra careful when I lie down and get it right between the shoulder blades and climb on top. I don't know whether it's smarter or dumber that your head is on the roller and my bottom ribs are barely on the roller, so I have to use my feet to elevate my butt. Now, what I meant by smarter would be if your roller was closer to all of your ribs, but then you have nowhere for your head. So if you're lucky enough to have another foam roller or yoga blocks, or even a ball, I've done this before with my ball, you could be clever in the way in which you use your devices and props. All right, this might take some science here. Aha, all right, I am on my foam roller. Now for those of you who have the long foam roller, you're really the lucky one because you don't have to worry about this head situation. My arms are all the way up toward the ceiling and I can feel I'm crooked. I really don't want to be crooked. Arms up, shoulder blades on the roller, shoulder blades off the roller, shoulder blades on, shoulder blades off. Literally, your shoulder blades mobilized, retracting, protracting. My elbows are not bending. I'm using shoulder blade muscles. On the last one, I'll just open my arms wide and allow the chest to expand. For many people, and for people who spend many hours seated, possibly practicing poor posture, sitting with their head forward and heavy, looking at a computer screen or their keyboard or their devices, the rounding of the back is prevalent. And so sitting or lying down in a position where your shoulders are pulled back and the chest is expanding can help to mitigate the effects of forward head syndrome and the effects of your environment, the effects of many hours seated where you're not taking enough breaks to stand up. So if you're taking a break and you stand up, you know, you can interlace your fingertips behind your back and stretch your arms down behind you. Or you can lie down on a ball or your foam roller. Give it a few minutes, moments, at least a few moments, and feel the expansion across your chest. What would be best is if you add some mobility so that you're allowing for the oxygen to flow in a circular pattern. My arms are going around in slow motion. You must always be mindful of your rotator cuff when your arm is in this compromised position back behind you and gravity is pulling your arms down. Be extra careful. This part is easy, and this part is not that challenging. It's right when your arms are all the way back and gravity is pulling your arms down toward the floor. Be extra mindful. Once you've completed a few of those circles, you can go reverse. If you don't have a whole lot of space beside you for full wingspan, imagine that you're a bird with just half your wings, like a little baby bird, and you can just circle like circling your elbows around. Reverse. Woohoo! I'll reach all the way up. I can open my shoulder blades behind my back. I'll close my shoulder blades down on the roller and then just drop the arms. This feels so good, but if I turn off muscles in my legs, I'll fall down. So I have to come down off the roller. Take your time and be careful. And as you remove your props, you can hug your knees into your chest. Hug your knees into your chest. Oh yeah, I forgot this one. My foam roller's got to be under my head. Grab your foam roller. Place it in the curvature of your neck. Place it in the natural curvature of your neck. And now relax your head, including your jaw and your eyes. Leave your arms down beside you, palms up. This is sometimes called the anatomical first position. Don't worry about that. Turn your head left and then turn your head right. And remember, if you're on one of these types of foam rollers, it could be a little knobby in the back of your head. So try to be gentle. Oh my goodness. I'm returning to center and very intentionally nodding my chin toward my chest and then intentionally lifting my chin toward the ceiling. It's not a lot of motion, it's not, so don't make a big deal of it. Lifting my chin and lowering my chin. All right, last one. Ah. Woohoo! I'm going to remove the roller, put my head on the floor, and if your spine is normal, natural, healthy, your shoulder blades and the back of your head should be resting on the floor without any strain or tension. When your knees are bent and feet are flat, your thighs can fall in, you know, like a teepee, like the top of a teepee tent, and your knees could fall in. When your arms are down on the floor, they're just casually away from your body, not far, palms turned up. Palms turned up is supinated. That opens the shoulders and the chest. This is called the anatomical first position. There should be no tension. So you can close your eyes and relax. Take a couple of deep breaths, though. Feel the pelvis, the back of your hips, right at the bottom of your spine, heavy on the mat. Your ribs, your belly, your abdomen, the whole abdominal cavity inflates when you take a breath in. Should be relatively easy to deflate. You got a little gravitational pull assisting flattening your belly and ribs. I'm going to bring one knee up to my chest, give it a little hug. Second knee is invited, both knees back up and give them a hug. You can use the kicking action of your legs to lift your head, rock and roll, and come on up to seated. I'll just place my feet down and come to a seated position. Grab your roller because we can use it one last time in a spine roll forward. I'm sitting with my butt bones even, my knees are down heavy, and my fingertips are on the roller. When I nod my head down, I'm diving. Like I just went for a walk today and saw a huge sunflower on a really long stem. Imagine your head to be like the flower, the sunflower, on a really long stem that is bending or wilting lower and closer to the ground. Keep going. As you begin to come back, imagine, use your imagination. It's as if that stem and the ground maybe got some water and it just grew straight up. Nod your head again. Concentrate on the neck. Oh, the neck is stretching. Pull your ribs in, pull your belly in, actively rolling forward. And then allow your head to be very heavy. Come on back, take your time, arrive, and your head is the last thing on top. You can move the roller aside, you won't need it. Take a deep breath with me. Inhale, and then exhale. Thank you very much for coming. I enjoyed. It was my pleasure to offer this foam Rollerama. Every 3 or 4 weeks, we do the foam Rollerama with the focus on the myofascia release. Essentially, self-massage. Hey, Melissa, just watching. Well, thanks for coming. This class will be uploaded onto my YouTube channel. If you're watching on my YouTube channel, don't forget to subscribe. On Mondays at 4:30, I'll do a straight-up 30-minute Pilates class called Short and Snappy. And on Thursdays, like today, it's foam Rollerama. It's every 3rd, sometimes 4th Thursday that I use the massage foam roller. Otherwise, I would use the regular foam roller, and we'll do Pilates-based exercises for core strengthening, balance, and alignment. All right, thanks for joining me. See you again soon. Leave your comments on the comment line.